Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Sales Mastery TV. I'm your host, Chadi Bazzi, a real estate coach and trainer, and I'm on a mission to help you master the art of selling so you can take more listings than you are right now, sell more homes much faster than you ever have, work less, and build a business by design. A business you absolutely love that gives you the money, time, and freedom that you deserve. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hey there, it's Chadi Bazzi here with Real Estate Success Mastery TV, and welcome to another episode. I know in previous episodes you always hear me say I'm excited about my guest. Well, today I am super excited about the guest that we have for you today. She's just a woman of inspiration, a leader in the community, a person of contribution, and she's just going to give you a lot of golden nuggets today. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Faviola.
Hi everyone, how you guys doing?
Hey, welcome to Real Estate Success Mastery TV. Let's go ahead and begin by you just, introducing yourself to our audience. Tell them, your name, where do you work, what city you work in, and how someone can get a hold of you, because they're going to absolutely love what you have to share, and they might have some referrals for you.
Oh, definitely. Well, my name is Faviola Nieves, and I work for the Prosperity Team, Remax time here in Rancho Cucamonga. I dominate Fontana, Rancho Cucamonga, and Upland. And of course, you guys can definitely get a hold of me. My direct number is 626-214-6696, or you can email me at info@thegoveagroup.com.
Wow. You know what I love about that introduction? She said, I dominate Fontana, and then Rancho Cucamonga in the other city. I'm like, yes, you sure do. She's definitely a person that dominates. All right, so we're going to begin by, let our audience and our viewers know, how long you've been in the real estate business, and, and then without going too far back into history, give them, 2014, what are you projected to do, et cetera. I think that would be a good start.
Okay, I've been in the real estate business since 2004. Okay. 2014, this year, we're projected to close 75 deals.
Okay, wow, 75 deals. So she's been in the business for approximately 10 years now. Right. This year she's projecting to do about 75 deals. Yes. And I'm just curious, how many deals did you do last year in 2013?
In 2013, we did 50.
Okay, so basically we're having a 50% increase in production.
Correct.
Usually they tell you in the industry, if you can increase 10, 20% a year, that's very good. You're having a 50% increase. So we're definitely going to talk about that in just a moment. Now, the majority of our audience is we have, people watching who are, been in the business for a long time. Some people are newer and everything in between. So what we're going to do is we want to give them as much valuable information as we possibly can to help them increase their production by, one transaction to 2 transactions each and every single month. Definitely. You think we can do that?
I know we definitely can.
Okay, perfect. So now when we started the interview, you said, I dominate these cities. So the question for you is, like, in your mind, do you really dominate those cities, or is that just something that just comes out of your mouth?
No, it's something I know that I dominate. It's something that I truly feel it, I believe it, and I know it.
Okay, did you always feel that way, or was this something like you worked towards developing that belief system?
No, I worked towards developing that belief system. It's something, you have to develop the belief system in order to start creating the results.
Mm-hmm. So and this is something I love to talk a lot about, because, more important than going out there and trying to generate a transaction is first generating the mentality that you can, generate that transaction. I think you and I have done a lot of work on that in the years that we've worked together, is making sure that, we frame your mind to set up for success. So let's go into this segment. Usually what I like to do on these interviews is I like to hit a couple of different pillars. One of the pillars that I love to hit always is the mindset, the belief system. Another pillar is, lead generation, like how do you generate your business, etc. Another pillar would be, maybe some systems, and then a little bit of marketing. So let's begin by hitting the pillar of, mindset and developing the belief system. So you said that you didn't always have this mentality that who you are as a person that dominates the marketplace.
Correct.
So how did you develop that mentality that who you are is someone that's as powerful as you are?
There's several different steps from, you started recommending some great books to start molding the way that I think. Mm-hmm. From our conversations, when you would tell me, be very careful of what you're asking yourself and how you're asking those questions, because those also influence what you think, which obviously influences how you act and the actions that take place.
Yeah.
My affirmations daily my why, my visions, and reading it so that I'm connected to it.
Okay.
Those are all different things that I've done.
All right, so basically reading.
Reading.
Okay, affirmations.
Correct.
And connecting with your vision.
Yes.
Okay, so this is like a 3-step process.
Yes.
Okay, can we walk our audience through the process? Like when you say affirmations, there's someone that may be watching this video or listening to this video is like, what the heck is an affirmation?
An affirmation, I mean, I do a lot of the 5-5-5. So I do 5 things I'm grateful for, 5 things I will accomplish that day, and 5 affirmations, 5 things that I will attract into my life.
Okay, give them an example of one of your affirmations.
Affirmation would be, well, for example, today I will sign 2 contracts.
Okay.
That might be one thing.
Okay.
Another one might be, you know, this week I will have 5 contracts signed, or I will make $1 million, or different types of affirmations.
Okay. All right, perfect. So basically, within the affirmations, you're affirming like your goal as becoming a reality. You're reminding yourself of it.
Correct. It's as if I'm already there, as if I've already received it.
Yeah. Awesome. And that helps?
It definitely helps. It sets, and it has, to me, it's very important to do it in the morning because it sets the tone for the rest of the day.
Okay, I totally and wholeheartedly agree. Okay, so that's the little segment on affirmations. Now, you also said that, you know, you do a vision. Someone is like, what is a vision?
Well, you had recommended to do it on a monthly basis, which really has helped. And my vision, I have the one that is my ultimate vision of where I see myself living. You know, what type of house, what type of furniture, what are my kids doing, what type of activities am I doing, who are my friends, who I'm surrounded by with. I have the one that's a monthly one, which is, let's say, for example, I have the one for July, and it'll say, you know, today was great. I woke up at 4 a.m. every single day, worked out, felt great. People were calling me, asking me to go list their homes. And I just pretty much, you know, go step by step as to what I'm doing and what I want as if it already took place.
Awesome. And you know what, for our audience that wants more information about how to do that, I did a video about that maybe about a month ago, maybe about 10 episodes ago or so. I'll make sure to include that in the show notes, so make sure you visit shadibazzi.com for the link to that video so you can create that vision. Now, that vision, does it really help you?
It definitely helps, yes.
It does.
Yes, a lot, yes.
You know what, many years ago, I read a book called Write It Down, Make It Happen. And this is when I really started to, you know, write down my vision, okay? And that's ever since I say, I believe in something called ink and paper magic. It's like, you know, when you put the ink on the paper, magic begins to happen. And that's been, you know, the experience for me in my life. And, you know, you said you write down every single day. So I want to know if there's certain things that sometimes you write down and there's a certain part of you that says, really? You know, I'm talking about like that voice in the back here that says, really?
I would lie if I said it doesn't.
Really?
So yes, so it definitely does happen. I think even if it does happen, it shows you that there's a little challenge that you need to overcome.
Yeah.
And it triggers something inside of me that makes me realize that if I'm questioning myself, then why not prove it?
Yeah.
Why not just take action and really see if I can accomplish it?
Yeah.
And just push for it and go for it.
Awesome. All right, what about the books? You said, you know, also a book, like, you know, you read. Like, can we just recommend one book, you know, for people to just go pick up and read that you feel would have a great impact on them, you know, mentally, emotionally, and, you know, in their business, in their life?
There's so many great books.
Just
many
one book.
Great books. But I want to say Awakening the Giant Within.
Okay.
It was huge.
All right, that's the first on Real Estate Success Mastery TV.
Yeah.
So Awaken the Giant Within, and that's by?
That one is by Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
It's not necessarily about real estate, but it's talking about how sometimes we don't believe, and how sometimes there's certain things. It's a story that talks about the changes that he made, and all of a sudden he created this wealth and he created this empire that before he didn't know he could do.
Yeah.
So I just think that for no matter what field you're in, that's the type of book that will help you to remember that we all have a giant within that needs to be awakened.
Yeah. Excellent book. So, you know, pick up that book, read that book, and it'll make it'll unleash the giant, you know, within you. You know, we all have that giant. All right, so we're talking about mindset. So, you know, mindset is huge, obviously, because, you know, what you tell yourself impacts how you feel, and how you feel impacts, you know, the kind of actions you take. The kind of actions you take impacts the kind of results that, you know, you're producing. Obviously, you're producing very good results. can you share with us, like, you do 75 transactions this year. I'm curious to find out, and as your coach, I know your numbers, but somebody's curious to find out what percentage of the business is, buyers versus sellers.
I would want to say that about 60% are sellers,
okay,
and 40% are buyers.
Okay, so 60% sellers, 40% buyers. And where does your business come from? Like, how do you get 75 deals? I mean, we're talking about like, almost 2 deals a week.
We do a lot of different things. I mean, a lot of it is center of influence, past clients, because you have taught us how to feed into our database in order to be able to produce from it.
Okay.
But we haven't stopped what would be like the prospecting, the phones, the mailers, and the door knocking. That still produces, it still feeds us.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so it's a combination of, we got past client, center of influence, which is your database.
Correct.
And then we got, some door knocking. And you said you do a little bit of marketing, direct marketing, right?
Direct marketing, yes.
Okay.
And the calling would be expireds, FISBOs, and cold calling.
Okay, so expireds, FISBOs, and cold calling. So you got a combination of. So if you count what she has about 6 lead generation systems in place when we add them all up.
Correct.
I mean, like, we got, let's say, expireds, FISBOs, and cold calling, and we can even condense that to just 1 lead generation system, okay? Then we got the direct mail, that would be number 2. We got the door knocking, that would be number 3, and then we got your database, that would be number 4. So good 4 lead generation systems in place to get to 75 deals. So let's talk about your past client and centers of influence, because I believe that's where a good percentage of your business is coming from, right?
Very good percentage of it comes from that.
So what do you do? How do you keep in touch with those people? How do you get these people to, refer you business, come back and do business with you? What do you do?
First of all, we take a lot of pride in giving excellent service. I believe that you have to watch out for what's in their best interest.
For sure.
And we stay in connection with them. Even after, we always tell them, we don't close a deal, we open up a friendship.
I like that. We don't close a deal, we open up a friendship.
Yes. And so we stay in contact, whether through Facebook, we have, client appreciation parties. We throw housewarming parties for them. So we try to do a lot of activities to let them know that they're not just simply a client. They've become a friend, a part of our family.
Yeah.
And that's, obviously has helped a lot, because they'll call us a lot of times and refer a friend, a family member that either wants to buy or sell.
Right. So they call you. What about you? Do you call on to them? Like, how often do you communicate with your database?
Well, we communicate with them through email.
No, just the phone calls first. Like,
the
how often do you?
I want to say about quarterly.
Okay, so once a quarter you pick up the phone and you do your darndest best to connect with everyone in your database.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you said you email?
Yes, we do send emails.
How often do you email your database?
Every holiday. I want to say on an average about once a month.
Okay, so on average about once a month. And do you mail anything to your database?
Very rarely.
Okay.
For their birthdays.
Okay, so
birthdays?
So at least for their birthdays you send them something.
Correct.
Okay. And then you mentioned a housewarming party. So somebody closes a deal with you, you do a housewarming party.
Yes.
I mean, that's got to be a first for a lot of people, watching this video or listening to this podcast right now. Like, what do you mean you throw a housewarming party? Can you tell us a little bit about that, and how that impacts the relationship and how that impacts your business?
Well, I mean, it makes them feel very, first of all, they already feel very appreciative because we were able to help them reach their goals. And we give them a reason or another reason to celebrate and invite all of their friends and families. And what we do is that we'll actually send out an invitation on their behalf to all of their friends and family, something very nice. We get catering, we'll set up for entertainment. I mean, it's something very beautiful. So you have the time to bond. You've already bonded with your clients, but you bond on a different level with them. And not just them, with all of their family and friends.
Well, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, you're doing this housewarming party for them, okay? And you're meeting all their friends and family, the people that they care about.
Yes.
And all these people got to be saying something like, your realtor is doing this for you?
Yes.
Wow. What a strategy for positioning. What a strategy for positioning. I mean, in that moment, you've already separated yourself from everyone in the marketplace because you go above and beyond what anybody else does. Like, I tell you, I don't know that many people that do that. I'm sure it costs you a couple of $100, but it's a great investment.
It's worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it.
And then you mentioned a client appreciation party. Okay, I know you have another client appreciation party coming up.
Yes.
Next month.
Correct.
Okay, and you've done one last year. Tell us about that. I mean, what is a client appreciation party? Is it expensive? Is it not expensive? Is it important? Do people show up? Do they engage? What do you get out of it?
Well, I believe it's very important because you're inviting them over. You're not inviting them to talk about business. You're inviting them just to tell them that you appreciate them doing business with you. You appreciate them as a human being, as a friend, as a family member. And it's just to go out there and enjoy and have fun. Last year we did it at a restaurant. We rented it out. I don't believe it was too expensive. It wasn't, not for the results that we got.
Yeah.
Not compared to what we were able to receive from them.
Yeah.
You know, they sang, they danced, they had great food, it was great environment, and people are reaching out back to say, hey, thank you so much. We had a great time. We had so much fun. And even those past clients that you haven't seen them in years, it gives you the opportunity to see them again.
Yeah,
and be able to reconnect all over again.
So you said that, you know, it's not that expensive in comparison to what it does for you. I'm just curious to find out that one specific last client appreciation party that you did. I mean, did that result in any new additional transactions?
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to say about 8.
8 transactions?
Yeah, I want to say we got about 8 transactions.
Wow. Just from doing a client appreciation party. I think that's why you're repeating it again, right?
Correct. That's
you found
definitely,
something that works.
Yes, yes.
Like, let me do it again, right? But I don't think that's the reason why. Knowing you the way that I know you, I think it's more about just, you know, the connection and the furthering of the relationship. And then, you know, the transaction is just a reward.
Correct. I mean, that's just the result. I think that when you give the service you're supposed to, when you contribute, I truly believe that it just opens up the floodgates for you to be able to receive. It's just the law of life.
Yeah, the law of life. I like that. The law of life. I didn't know there was a...
That's how I see it.
All right, so what about as far as door knocking? And now I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know with door knocking you're on and off.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. But I do remember a time last year where you did like 9 transactions in a very, very short period of time from door knocking.
Correct.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
How'd you do that? Well, first of all, I'm not even going to ask you why you stopped doing that as consistent as you were. But that's a whole other conversation that we'll have outside of here. But, you know, you've made it work. How did you make it work?
You go out there and you choose a farm area and you just start door knocking. I mean, obviously, if you have your sales skills and you take the action, then when they open the door, it's actually a lot easier to connect with them than when it's over the phone. Because you can read their body language. And you usually have a couple more minutes in order to truly find out if there's a motivation. And if there is, you can play on it and get it right then and there.
Yeah.
So we happened to hit, that was in Fontana, and we were door knocking, and it was, you know, it was one door and they wanted a list, and then there was another one, and I really believe that when you start taking the actions that you need to, it just starts happening. Door knocking to me is a great way because it gives me the perfect opportunity to connect with people face to face.
Yeah, which is important.
Very important.
Okay.
Correct.
So are you going to do more of it now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to go back to it. Okay, so we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about lead generation in a second, but you said when you have the sales skills.
Correct.
Do you have sales skills?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Look at the confidence. She's like, yes, I have sales skills. Were you born with sales skills?
Absolutely not.
Nah. So you developed the sales skills?
Yes.
Okay, so can you say something about sales skills, like, you know, like, whatever you want to say something about sales.
Well,
sales skills, developing sales skills, etc.
Developing sales skills. I've taken a couple of times, I've not maybe like 2-3 times the NLP classes, which teaches you how to be able to communicate with others.
Right.
I've done a lot of role play sessions with other agents in order to be able to sharpen my skills, and it gives you also different ideas as to how to overcome objections.
Yeah.
Objection handlers.
Objection handlers, okay.
Yes. So I want to say those are the 3 things that I've implemented in order to keep on getting better.
Okay, so NLP.
NLP.
By the way, we're going to be opening up another NLP class a little bit later on this year. So for those of you that are interested in neuro-linguistic programming, make sure you go to ChadiBazzi.com and just sign up for our newsletter so you could be notified of it, because we usually don't open it up to the public. It's only like just for my subscribers and stuff like that. So make sure you go to ChadiBazzi.com and just, you know, sign up for our newsletter, and we'll notify you when the next NLP class opens up. So NLP has made a huge impact for you, would you say?
Huge.
Okay.
Huge.
What is NLP?
NLP is learning how to be able to communicate with people, how to say it, from the tone of voice, from the words that you're using, from when to pause, and it's something that triggers inside the mind.
Yeah.
So you're able to use certain words to get the other person to agree with you without them even really noticing it.
Wow, that sounds like persuasion. That sounds like influence.
It is. It is a source of. It is a way of influence, and
it's not mind control.
It's not.
It's influence.
Yes, and
Okay.
it's not in a negative way because it's just to be able to help and dig for the motivation,
Right.
and help them reach their goals.
Right.
That's all it is.
You know, I think one of the biggest obstacles that that we have in this industry is, you know, a lot of people think, and it's something that we were talking about earlier. A lot of people think that just because they're people, you know, that they're going to be able to connect with a lot of people and make a sale. See, when you enter this business, you are a real estate sales professional.
Correct.
Okay, so the people part of it, the people part of it is very important, but the sales part of it is also very important.
Yes.
So when you went through the NLP, you said you learned how to connect with people,
Correct.
how to get people to feel comfortable with you,
Yes.
how to get people to trust you,
Yes.
how to get people to like you,
Of course.
how to get people to want to do business with you.
Definitely. Yes.
All right. So, and then what words to say,
Yes.
how to say it,
Correct.
when to say it, when to pause, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Okay. As hard as it seems to learn, is it difficult to learn or is it easy to learn?
No, it's not difficult to learn. It's just a matter of practicing it.
Okay. So tell us about like your practice, like in order for you to get to the place of, you know, who I am as the person that dominates, like you are that confident, you have that skill set. How much practice does one need to do in order for him to get to the level of like, hey, I'm more confident, I'm gonna go knock on the door, I feel a little bit better today about my sales ability, I'm gonna pick up the phone and make a phone call, because that's something that a lot of people struggle with. And I wanna like do my darndest best to help people really, you know, shatter, you know, like you said, unleash the giant within, and really have that confidence to go out there and do the things that they know they should be doing. So how much practice, whether it's NLP or anything else, it doesn't matter, you know, as long as you practice it, how much practice should one commit, like, let's say on a daily or weekly basis to develop their skill set?
Daily.
Daily.
I want to say daily.
Okay.
Yes.
How much time on a daily basis?
I would at least 30 minutes.
Okay.
Even if it's 15 minutes, as
Okay.
long as you become consistent with it, it's going
Okay.
to help you.
So consistently 15 minutes a day of practice.
Yes.
Can you give somebody some advice on what to practice, like every single day, like where to begin, like, you know, should they, like the advice that I would give would be, look, begin with, you know, really identifying the objections that you get from buyers and sellers and make a list of them. And then, you know, just write down, say, hey, next time this objection comes up, here's, you know, what I think would be a good way to handle it. And then go share that with your broker, your manager, or associate, or with us at ChadiBazzi.com.
Definitely.
We'll let you know if you're doing it right or
And
wrong.
also role playing, because
Role-playing, okay.
yeah, role playing. You want to role play with another agent that's also very powerful, because you can also share that objection with them, and they're going to be able to tell you how to handle it.
Okay.
It might be something that you never even thought of, and so I truly believe in role play.
Okay, so role playing every single day. Awesome.
Right, sharing it with their coach. Like
Okay.
you.
Okay, good.
Because you definitely come up with some amazing objection handlers.
Yeah. You know, I got, you know, lots of years of practice, so
Yes.
it just makes it easy. And you know what? Talking about role play, there's someone out there that's watching this video right now saying, "Hey, I don't know who to role play with." Well, I'll tell you, you can go to, you know, just go on Facebook, okay, and then, you know, look me up, you know, Facebook.com/Coach Chadi Bazzi, and you know, I have like thousands of people that are engaged on my Facebook page. You can request a role play partner right there on my page, and you know, someone in the industry would be able to just reach back to you and role play with you. So that would be a good place to connect, right?
Yes, yes, I agree.
Awesome. All right, so we talked about skills. I'm going to go back to the lead generation part where you said you pick up the phone, you call on expireds, you call them for sale by owners. Do they give you objections?
Yes, a lot.
Okay. Do you know how to overcome those objections?
The majority of them.
Okay. Does it work 100% of the time?
No.
Okay, so nothing works 100% of the time. Okay, so it's a process that you got to go through.
Yes.
Okay. Have you listed property from expireds?
Yes.
Have you listed property from for sale by owners?
Yes.
Okay. If somebody's thinking about calling for sale by owners and or expireds, would you tell them yes, do it, or would you tell them no, don't do it, it's hard?
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Okay.
Just be prepared. That's why I think that when you cold call, the difference between cold calling and expires and FSBOs is expires and FSB for sale by owners, you already know that they have the motivation, that they want to sell.
Right.
You just have to be ready with the objection handlers because they've already gone through some sort of bad experience, which is the reason they expired or the
Right.
reason why they decided to sell by themselves.
Right.
So I think it's just, hey, prepare yourself mentally, role play, and go at it. Take action.
That's it.
Yes.
Prepare mentally, role play, take action.
Yes.
That's it. Awesome. Anything else you want to say? I mean, you know, I can't think of all the questions here, so.
Well, I feel as if you've pretty much covered everything, you know, what it takes to be successful in this business. It's not anything difficult.
Yeah.
It's just the consistency and taking the right steps in order to become better, just like anywhere else.
Yeah, what is an average day like in the life of Favi? I mean, you know, what time do you wake up? What do you do? What time do you get to the office? What time you break for lunch? You know, you have children. What time you get home? You know, what is the balance like, etc.
I'm up on an average usually about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, I believe a lot in God, so I pray, I exercise, I do my affirmations. I'll read a book, or if I don't have a chance to read a book, then I'll listen to it on audible.com as I'm driving to the office.
Okay, good idea.
At the office by 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock, and then I prospect for 2 to 3 hours. I leave the office on an average about 6 o'clock to go home.
Okay.
6, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And then I go home to my beautiful children.
Awesome. And do you take time off, or do you work every day?
No, I take time off. I usually take about 1 day a week off.
Okay.
And I schedule my vacations.
Okay, and how many vacations did you take last year? I'm just curious.
Like 3 or 4.
I know, like, you know, like for like a month, you guys were gone like almost every single day.
Yes.
So, you know, the reason I wanted to ask you that question is because, you know, when people hear that you can do 75 transactions, they probably think you're going to work like 75 hours a week, 75 weeks in a year, which there isn't that many weeks. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So you still, for the most part, have balance in your life, etc.
Correct, I do. And, you know, we have our systems in place to be able to help create that balance.
Okay, so how do you create that balance? Like, what do you do? Like, what is one tip that you could give somebody to really create more balance in their life? Because there's people that are just doing like I got talking to a gentleman yesterday, and he's pretty much he's averaging about 1.5 to 2 transactions every single month. And his biggest complaint was that he's like working 80 hours a week. So, you know, what would you tell that person? I mean, he's not doing nowhere near the transactions you're doing, but obviously you're doing more, but you have a system in place that gives you balance. What's the advice that you would give somebody to how to create more balance?
Well, I would believe, I mean, right there to that gentleman, there's 2 different issues that you have to look at. First of all is the scheduling.
Yeah.
You know, is he really scheduled? Is he truly working from a certain hour to a certain hour, or is he involving personal stuff in the middle of the mix? Yeah. So scheduling is huge because you have to have the moment to be able to create leads and a moment for your appointments and for your personal, which is something that you've taught. I mean, you know, we've worked a lot on that as well.
For sure.
And then second of all, if he's working that many hours and only doing 1, 2 a month, then it's sales skills.
Sales skills.
Sales skills.
All right.
Mindset.
Awesome. Okay. So you brought up a point where you said, you know, personal, like sometimes there's personal stuff. And I'm sure as a mother, you know, there's going to be certain times where, you know, your child is going to need you and you're working, et cetera. You know, how do you deal with that?
Well, if it's something that I can, you know, program ahead of time, then I'll schedule it, just like if it was an appointment. Okay. If it's, for example, you know, we all have emergencies, they get sick, I have to go to the doctors, and, you know, I do have a team that I can communicate with that they're able to pick up on certain spots so that I can exit and take care of that emergency. Okay, but for the most part, are you running out of a schedule? Yeah, for the most part, I have to run out of a schedule. So for the most part, like everything you're doing is inside of your schedule? Correct, yes. Awesome, okay. How important is it for a person to follow a schedule? Well, the question would be how important is it, or how badly do they want to be successful? Okay, well, I like that. How badly do you want to be successful? Yes. So the more that you want to be successful, the more you have to follow the schedule, because the schedule is designed to create success for you. It is. It is. The schedule becomes your boss. Okay, your schedule is your boss. Okay. What else? So I truly, absolutely believe that when it comes to the schedule, you have to take a look at it every single day. Yeah. You have to review it weekly and make sure that you have the most important parts in there. I mean, we might not follow it 100% of the time, but you have to follow it the majority of the time in order to get the results that you want. I agree. And Favi, you're 10 years, you're pretty much 10 years into the business. You're going to do about 75 transactions this year. And if you could go back 10, obviously you have a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of skill that right now that you didn't back then. If you could go back 10 years in time
and start all over again, what would be the 1 or 2 or 3 things that your future self will tell your past self to do?
So if there was 2 or 3 things that I could go all the way back 10 years ago when I first got into the business to that would impact me, God, there's so many different things. But it would be the scheduling.
Okay.
It would be the prospecting, because I was all over the place and I didn't even know exactly how to prospect, and the sales skills.
Okay.
I think those 3 things would be amazing. I mean, when the market hit, I would have already been up here in a different position.
Yeah.
You know, so it's...
So you would create a schedule.
Create a schedule.
You would do lead generation every single day.
Yes.
And you would develop your skill set, like you begin to work on your skill set much sooner.
Yes.
Than later. Definitely. Awesome. All right. Do you feel like there's a question I should have asked you that I didn't ask you? That's a good question.
I don't feel like there is. I mean, I want to emphasize, and I don't know if you know, but I want to emphasize also the importance of having a coach.
Okay.
Because I really believe that having a coach is the one that will help us to identify when we're slacking off.
Yeah.
When we're not following our schedule.
Right.
When we're not prospecting consistently. Like you pointed out, I haven't been too consistent with the door knocking lately. And having a coach, just like any other successful athlete out there, it's the one that points, hey, here's your weakness, strengthen it. Hey, you're not noticing this, fix it. So besides having the schedule, the mindset, and everything else, I truly, truly believe that coaching has been a huge part of my growth.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. And any parting words of wisdom?
Get a coach.
Get a coach. All right. Well, thank you very much for that. You are awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope that you as the listener and or watcher of this video got a lot of value from your exposure to someone who is as amazing as Favi. Okay. The purpose of these episodes is to impact you. It's to give you value. It's to shift and alter your thinking in a way that will cause you to become a better version of you. So we wanted to deliver that to you today. I hope that we did that. And if we did do that, then my request is that you simply go to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, Real Estate Success Mastery TV, and leave us a 5-star rating and a positive review, okay? Also, if you feel like this is a video that would benefit someone else, please forward that video to them. And for all the show notes, you can find those at chadibazzi.com. And again, how do you, Favi, how can they connect with you again if somebody wanted to connect with you? Do you have like an email address or
I have an
Facebook?
Email address, Facebook, direct number. The email address, once again, is info@thegoveagroup.com. We're on Facebook. You can, search me up by either Faviola Nieves or Prosperity Group.
Awesome. And we'll put that in the show notes so that way you can just click on them and, be able to connect with her. So, Favi, thank you very much again.
Thank you.
You are awesome. You are awesome. All right, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.